Shirley here with Jupiter, point of Thales. And this is part two of my experiment in which I do record something on Saturn hour, and it's going to be connected with the topic of this video. And I'm going to bring in the fixed star Deneb Algedy, and I'm going to use a couple of things to bring that energy in. First of all is something that I did, which is Deneb Algedy and and Uranus in Taurus. Sorry, so Deneb Algedy and Uranus in Taurus, and this is mixed with a little, is for personal use, yes. So mixed with a little Thema Mundi by Caitlin Koppock, and with a little Fiery Wall of Protection, The Red Hand by Austin Koppock. And so that is my cheat oil, which is of course for personal use. I'm going to lay it on my neck as well as my hands, a little bit of anointing to my phone. The last time I anointed Fiery Wall of Protection and then of Algedy by Sphere and Sundry, I actually ran into the news that the Mormon Church is being litigated for sex trafficking nationwide, and we're talking babies ages 0 to 6 months as well trafficked. Somebody in the comments asked, well, how is it counting human trafficking if there wasn't any changes of money? And I'm like, unfortunately, that's actually rituals that they do for wealth. And this is something that they are required to do to get monetary positions. That is a part of the structure of the ritual. A little bit more on that, you can look at Ronald Bernard. And he was ex-cultist, and he was top banker, which means top criminal, and he explains it best himself. And when it came to do these things to children, because he was molested, he tried to kill himself because he didn't want to do it, and then exited the cult, went through extreme torture, and still has to do crime in order to, according to him, in order to be outside of the cult. If you can assist for him getting out of the cult completely and not have to do crime, that would be amazing. And another work I'm using is for this Deneb Algedy. Then again, I diluted it for personal use, and this is Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab. Ah, ah, spritz. So I'm gonna spritz my phone as well. I love it, love it, love it. I love to put it on my bed everywhere. I just love this work. Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab. The perfume is Prasidiniums. It smells so good. And this is from the Deneb Algedy Connect collection. One thing I noticed about that, when I dilute things for personal use, whether it's because to be okay with ethics scent, because this is a perfume, or so it will last longer, it is actually so good for the wealth of the company, because this means that I use it more. If I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't use it as much. I would be afraid to use that. And now I'm not so afraid to use that. I actually use it. I use it more casually. And I do need that, as you can see what I'm tending to, right? So this is very, very helpful. And also, like, I know I'm going to order for the, like, next month, I know I'm going to order something again, and even from the same collection, sometimes even the same thing. So this is tip for you people who are making perfumes or making any type of something that you can dilute for personal use. Don't be afraid of those people who dilute it or say that I did this, I did that. Don't worry. It's not going to decrease your sales. It's going to increase your sales. They're just afraid that it won't run out. And when you use something, you usually get the wealth to have more of that. So this is reducing my fear and increasing my wealth. Now, I begin to talk about how to identify infiltrators when you are escaping or have run into and want to avoid any type of trafficking situation, cult situation, and that sort of thing. So it's both what to identify and also how to identify that in those junctures that are supposed to say to help you. So let's talk housing and shelters. Yes, Moon is in 12 degrees Sag. It's on my Uranus, which is lovely. And this is midheaven ruled by Venus. Venus in the ninth house, about to go retrograde. It's a good thing to talk about shelters and houses. So one thing you should be aware of when you're offered like a safety house, a shelter, or house. And I will begin with a story that doesn't seem, not only does it not seem to be connected with trafficking, but the person themselves, some people question if he was like doing those things, okay? And I'm not going to be like, I'm not authority to answer that question, but that person was named Peter R. de Vries, and Saturn is soon going to go over his Mars. He was assassin, and he was offered protection in the following thing. He was assisting a state witness and he's journalist, cold case journalist, and he was offered an ultimatum from the police. They say either you're going to use you're going to get 24/7 protection. You won't be able to bring in a cell phone. Okay, can't call your wife. So definitely not you not report, okay, the case that you came as a journalist to help a state witness. Um, he was not a lawyer. He was then taken a Peter Schout and began to read his son's book about this. Um, and so either you get no protection whatsoever, okay, for the other opportunity, one opportunity, they basically literally physically kidnap you and don't let you any communication. Another is that you are not getting any help, which basically what Peter did. And this is something that I have to very sadly say to you that probably that's what you should do. He chose for zero protection. He was assassinated, of course. He died. Okay, it took him It took him 9 days to die from 5 bullets, one of them to his head. Um, so was assassinated 6 July 2021 and died 15 July 2021. Announced dead. And so why do I begin with the story? Because you are going to be offered. This is, by the way, why I tended to that, and I've tried to channel him, and it was a fascinating experience. And then water expands upon cooling, so I began to read the Book of Royce and so on. A lot of things. And yes, it was definitely from the elite society and everything that you can say about the elite, and definitely controversial and so on. But the thing is that when you are escaping, whether you are a refugee, whether you escape the violence, whether whatnot, you're going to be offered many settings that are going to look like what Peter was offered from the police. Your shelter has no right to take phone from you. Any type of protection that is offered to you where you cannot communicate, you cannot have your phone, you cannot have internet connection, you are, darling, what, are you going to jail? In jail, they have internet connection and they have phone. That means you're kidnapped, darling. That means you're trafficked, darling. That means your children will be taken from you and they're going to be Epstein. Either they're going to be Epstein or they're going to be, for the children that are raped, even if they're going to be Epstein, they begin the training by being raped. And mind you, if you go back to the litigation against the Mormon church that I quote on YouTube, and I will show you videos, so nobody says, oh, this is bad information. No, it's good information, and the lawyer that is standing to that is there interviewed. And this is a Mormon Stories podcast, the Mormon church facing new sex abuse and trafficking lawsuits. We're talking about infants from age 0 to 6 months as well. So this is just a side note, okay? That's what we're talking about. It's that that's what we're talking about. So when you are offered protection but separate from your kids, no. Another thing I want to say to you is community. Whoever you are watching this, never call the police when you see a woman in the street with her children sleeping outside. Never call the police. Never call the welfare. Pick up some money and make sure she has a hotel. I've seen community in Israel. There was a woman with children. They found her. They tried to help her. I told them, please, please, please don't turn to the police. Woman told them, I'm escaping my violent husband. Please don't turn to the police. And they turned, one of them turned to police and welfare. All the people were very kind. They funded for hotel for her and the children. The police separated her and the children. They took the children away. Because she supposedly kidnapped her children. Okay, she was escaping a violent husband. Now, even if, I want to say, even if, let's say she is narcissistic, she is this, she's that, she's going to rape her children, I don't know what, okay? And she supposedly pretended to, first of all, if this was the case, she would not ask for these people to fund her hotel. It's very important. Okay, she would turn to the police and would turn to litigate him and would take the children and this and that, but the children would be taken to welfare. That's one thing. The second thing, even if you don't know for what the story is, you want to make sure that this woman is together with children, that you know her children and you know where's the woman. And you come to visit her. Because if that gets into hands of welfare, again with the story, children go Epstein. And this is the story. And that, point number 3, hotlines. Same as welfare. I hope I covered it up. From Polaris to, I don't know, same as welfare. Enough to have one infiltrated person. Now, it's not against Polaris, okay? Let's say you have a call center. They always allocated to call centers, this company. One infiltrated person in the call center is enough. Now let's talk about perceptions. Oh, let's help a woman to find a job. Okay, let me put it that way. Person left a violent situation. What they need is rest. They will not be able to keep a job and are more susceptible right now to any type of abuse. If they ran away from cult, I'm going to quote to you a woman that got out of Mormon cult. And in the comments, people that got out of this Mormon cult says, at a certain stage, I had to cut all kinds of information and not give my number, address to my family, to my parents, because they would keep snitching and they would try to target me from the cult. You go to a workplace, they hire another person, that other person is from the cult. You go to rent apartment, okay? Somebody goes to talk with the makler, talk with the real estate agent, talk with your landlord, okay? From the cult. Now here is the thing, I said, if you're a state owner, somebody comes to talk to you about somebody. Now who's that somebody? Okay? It's your assets. You're gonna listen to the Mormons or you're gonna listen to your tenant. Now the thing is that sometimes initially they would try to make sure that the person is only at departments where is infiltrated with the cult. It's very challenging. What you as society can do is first of all know that those things exist. A person that's escaping from cult, escaping from trafficking, okay, they are not going to have a profile what you expect them to be. One of the tough things that Teal Swan, and I know people say Teal Swan is cult leader, is this, is that. Well, she wouldn't be if she got help. And the tips and advice she offered were better than 99% of most the psychiatrists and psychologists in her time. I'm not saying she's excellent. I'm not supporting if people say, well, you're projecting your shadow when you are saying something. No, I don't like that. It's called like. If this happens, okay, I don't know. I didn't check up on this, but yes, that's not the point. But the thing is, when she talked about her story, a survivor of ritual abuse in a Mormon cult, because she looks, I'm sorry, very sexy, and she doesn't hide that. Okay, so you would see her legs, or you would see her. Basically, she's not. It's not like she's even dressing in a way that is provocative, but relative to Mormons, she is. Okay, and she looks like a model, and yes, and of course, when escaping, we don't know what jobs she had to do. Well, she escaped the freaking Mormon ritual satanic abuse cult when she spoke up about it. People say satanic panic. Then don't expect for how you think of a victim should act to have this. Seizure girl, okay, she's tattooed all over. So if you become prejudiced, oh, this person is tattooed, oh, this lady, we see her legs. Okay, you see her legs. Okay, okay, she's tattooed. Okay, first of all, some of these people, I'm not saying for any one of them, a lot of the cult practices has to do with tattoos, branding, visible stuff, signs and symbols that are going to make it look, make it difficult for the person to later find a job, and so on and so on. Secondly, we think, oh, she's going to scare clients away. Okay, then put her in a call center. Okay, then yes, sometimes you, or get used to having her as a part of the staff. So they see it every time, and they see that this is a nice person, they see overall, so then you help to break the stigma. You're not going to lose clients. What you're going to lose is trafficking rings. That's what you're going to lose. It's going to look like you're losing clients, but what you're actually going to lose is trafficking rings. And if you're losing trafficking rings, then your business is doing better already. Be very wary of people that talk about the debt. Normally, when somebody says, for that person, they owe me this, or they owe me that, or they owe me this, or they owe me that. Now, there's a difference. Sometimes you do have grievances. When I left the apartment, I lost a pack of essential oils. I was like, where's the essential oils? I missed them, okay? But it's okay. But there's just those people that are like, they left this and 3 months bill unpaid, and this, like they forgot to say for what they did. That person ran off and wasn't even able to come to the area for like 2.5 years. Now, but usually there would always be something else that they forget. Okay? Like sum of money that could be first house deposit that they just got as benefit because they live with person with a disability or with whatnot, or so there would always be forgetfulness. The behind the discussion of debt, they try to get you to be in debt and then for pay that debt. When I was first night in Amsterdam, I didn't find shelter, and for the lady that supposedly saved me, bought me coffee in Starbucks and so on. I was one whole shift with her. I worked at the Bink, not the jewelry company, but the company where they check the tickets for the train, and then for the stand in the street to supposedly keep the order. Was a Friday, Christmas, okay, either 23 or 24th. The older person that was working for the street opposing, they switched the streets. So she was supposed to be working at the other streets, but 2021, December. Her name was Galubina. It doesn't matter. It looks like a stage name, but very likely they told her either you're going to be raped or you're going to recruit other people to be raped, and you have so and so people quota you need to recruit. Then she speaks very nice. She shows me picture of her family come. There are courses that you can get from government. You can do cosmetics, cause this, cause that. Okay, or I will fix you in for the job over here. You can stay with me. I know I was homeless too. And she showed her it's not like this, you wake up and you fall asleep and you fall asleep. And she knows exactly what it is, because very lucky she has been homeless. And for the partner that left, he took the booster shot. So they left around 1, so she finished 1:30 earlier. Then she begins to talk to you, says, because I trust you after you spend the 3 hours in the cold, in the freezing cold. But because I trust you, I tell you, I run business, but only soft drugs. In Netherlands, is no problem. It's legal. And then begin to talk again. I have many SIM cards. I said, why do you need so many SIM cards? Because I had no local SIM. And what she says to me, I want you to know where you're getting into. There are cameras everywhere. You cannot go outside. People have to listen to me. What I like about my job, people have to listen to me. If not, we have problems. If you go on the train with no ticket, we make problems. And then Monday comes the lady who will wear a pajama. Okay, we'll wear a pajama. Monday comes the lady, she brings the lingerie, then she goes to the right, I go to the left. As far as I know, I go to my death, because it's not like I had another option. Most people would go to the right because they would hope that maybe they didn't hear well or were so dissociated and and before that she said, well, she didn't know I'm Dutch. So she said, you're going to have to work for your passport, costs 1,000 euros. I have a friend, they have a pub, you can work there. I said, I'm Dutch. So you see, very easy. Now, who would I hate? Oh, this Galobina. That's the name that I know. But the Tao that you can name is not the Tao. And with whom she works, she said, we work with the police. She tells me, we work with the police. Now you go to the police, of course they don't help you, until one lady, nice lady, because you cannot physically stand, and you sit there and you cannot physically stand. And one lady says, well, there's this shelter here, and it's 14 minutes. But last month you take cab, then the cab apparently is 40 minutes drive. Then you drive, you think in the highway, I was trying to get out of the car. And then the driver says, no, I'm sorry, it's traffic. Here we are there, and indeed it was for the shelter. Now with that shelter, I was treated well, and so on and so forth. Okay, except for when I had a wound. But that is how the story goes. They would put women at the frontier if you're a woman, men at the frontier if you're a man, child at the frontier if you're a child. Of course, they're not going to tell you what the job is. They're going to show you the pictures of their family. They've also been in your situation, and they've genuinely been in your situation. They're going to give you hope you will get this course, that course. But with the illegal stuff, okay, they trust you. They're going to wait a couple of hours. You're going to see the blank. When they look at you, they're going to have a look like, very often they would have a difficult time looking at you, or the look is going to be very weird. But sometimes they are such good actors that they're going to look, that they're going to have the expression and everything. And this is so. Now, of course, when you go to social work, or social this, or social that, police, enough to have one infiltrated, then entire place is infiltrated. Now, of course, you come to the shelter, they say, do you have a past of psychiatric disease? When you tell you escaped the trafficking, okay? This is illegal. It's basically for denying you life-saving help. They have to do something about the trafficking. They cannot juxtapose any question about your mental abilities together with when you testify on this. You know what is this? It's denying of evidence. It's corruption of when you have a procedure of litigation. Okay, it's to mix with that procedure. It's criminal. Then you have you have to not talk about it. You say no, and you don't talk about it, so you will get what? Shelter. But these are for the flags that you know this person is infiltrated. So this person asks you, if somebody asks you about your mental state when you talk about violence, you know that they are what? Infiltrated. They're double agent. The trafficker. Okay, for the shelter, what you need is shelter. You gotta get the shelter. The shelter is the hostel or something like that. But with the person that is in the juncture is a trafficker. You skip that person. It's like no, and then you start talking about something else. So they know that you won't talk about this, and everything is fine, and you get for your rights. So this is a part 2. Oh, we still have time. So first of all, so you know, it's illegal to ask you about your mental credentials when you talk about violence, because this is denying you life-saving help. You're not imagining that you were in a violent situation, okay? Ever. Also scientifically. Cure for schizophrenia is to believe patient and housing first, even if it sounds very weird. Person say, I hear voices tell me to kill my wife, okay? Very likely that person went through trauma. They are going to what? Psychic attack. And there are weapons. One of the weapons that are used, if you watch what are the 10 top weapons for mass destruction, one of them is targeting the nervous system of person and doing for such things. Now, of course, this person doesn't need to kill their wife. They need to disobey. But that person is not schizophrenic or sick at all. They have just been attacked by one of these weapons of mass destruction. That something sounds crazy doesn't give anybody the legal right to ignore for life-saving situation. Oh, why did you not help this person that was escaping human trafficking? Because they sounded crazy. This is infantile. It's abnormal. It is also illegal, and it is illegal for this criminal law. It's not civil law only, it's criminal law. Because they are basically cooperating with infiltration by sex trafficking and human trafficking organizations. This has legal implications. Now, what else should you pay attention to? If those situations you have conversation with the person and you feel disoriented and dissociated, later you feel something happened here, okay? It is true. They were trying to create synchronicity with you and using psychic attack on you to cause this disorientation. Any type of relation that treat you nice, later not nice, nice, later not nice. No, this is not a way to treat people. You're going to respect me, you're going to respect me on all levels. It's not I'm going to be nice to you, then I'm going to be ugly to you, then I'm going to take away it, and nothing. That's not a way to treat now. Again, it's not about zero shame and blame here. For these people that are trained to do that, they're tortured since they are the children that were trafficked from age 0 to 6 months and tortured in the womb. For the mother was raped. Then nobody came to save them. Then they became these people. That is true. Zero judgment. Okay? What I'm saying is so that we break cycle, we don't continue this, so that you can defend yourself, and then we can think about what those people that in there, how to open the door so they can come out of this. Okay? And this is very important. So this is a part 2.